So, a little bit of backstory. I play this game casually for fun with my mates, and I've never really played competitively at all. I've only just started playing solos the past month or so. I decided to try and switch to the joystick for a couple of reasons. Firstly, my keybinds had been the same since I first started playing about 3 years ago, and they're just not that good. I can't pull out my shotgun while I'm moving one way, and I can't build while I'm moving another, and I was getting into pretty bad habits with them as well. I also wanted to challenge myself and see if I can get to a level where I was actually confident enough to start trying to play competitive. Throughout these 30 days, I was only practicing for an average of 2 or 3 hours a day after work, and I don't adapt to change very well at all either. So this is going to be more of a casual perspective, and I thought it would be a fun challenge to do. Day 1, I started at the very bottom, which was this parkour course, which, as you can see, went pretty bad. And this is me actually trying, by the way. I never played on a controller or joystick before, so it was really strange, the movement. I started off doing some basic ramp brushes. I eventually managed to do something vaguely resembling a 90. I had my jump bound to shift, and it was so strange to jump with my pinky. I did some piece control practice, and this was an abomination, quite simply. I cannot believe how bad this looks. I felt like a complete bot, and honestly, I was. I began to feel a bit more comfortable moving around on day 2. I was getting used to moving with the joystick. I did some box fights in a 1v1 with my mates, and neither of us really do 1v1, so this was pretty messy and we had a good laugh at ourselves. I practiced some double edits to get used to moving and building at the same time. Then I hopped back into the piece control to get some more practice. A slight improvement from yesterday, but still pretty rubbish. This was my first real fight, and I think I forgot that it was actually build mode. I was so uncomfortable with all my buttons, I didn't even want to put my gun away. This was when I realized I needed to learn my floor bind. So that's what I did next. I hopped back into creative and practiced catching myself. I finished the day off with some edit courses. On day 3, I was feeling fairly comfortable with my movement, enough so to even try some high wall side jumps, which I've never really tried too much before. I did some more piece control practice, and this is where I noticed how nice the movement of the joystick felt. I'd used double movement before, but this just felt so smooth and natural for me. I got humbled very fast here. I realized I didn't actually know any of my keybinds as well as I thought I did. I couldn't place a floor or a roof for the life of me, and my brain just turned to complete mush. This was a few games later where I actually built a little bit. Still very badly, but I'm actually proud I caught myself there. I practiced doing some quad edits down to try and get used to all my build binds together, and this was also something that I'd only recently learned. This happened more than I'd like to admit. This was the fight where I realized that for some reason my pinky was very trigger happy on the shift key, and I kept hitting it and accidentally jumping. It started messing me up a lot. Although in the end it did actually make me win this fight, because I think I took him by surprise when I jumped over his wall. I hopped back into creative for some more free building practice, and this again is something I really don't do, so don't judge me. This was my first little bit of piece control in a game, but I still felt so messy. I was fumbling all my binds and I kept jumping again. I was getting so frustrated at myself. This fight was the most intense I'd had so far, and I was a complete mess. I felt completely lost. I wasn't thinking at all. I couldn't place floors or roofs. We actually did get a win today though, and I think that was the first one on the joystick. Day 4 didn't start too badly. I felt a little bit better with my binds. I practiced some side jumps and free building, and I actually felt okay. This fight really frustrated me because I felt like I could have done so much better. As soon as I was under pressure, I just forgot everything. I couldn't even take out my pickaxe to take my wall back. I don't even know what I was doing. It was just a pretty rough day. This was also the day where I almost rage quit because of my frustration at myself, constantly hitting shift and jumping accidentally. It was messing me up so much mentally. I tried switching it to something different, but I just couldn't find anything comfortable and I just gave up for the day. Day 5 was the worst day so far mentally. It started off okay and I actually felt a little bit better and creative. I did another death run to practice my movement too, and then I spent about 20 minutes or so just free building against AIs to practice my movement and my builds. I was feeling pretty good. But then I got into some real games and I had never felt the urge to give up more. I was playing so bad, I wasn't thinking at all, I couldn't even aim. My movement was awful, I kept falling off all my builds. I was fumbling my binds and missing all my shots and just getting more and more frustrated the more that I played. I took a break for a few hours, and this was the first build fight I had a bit later that day. I felt alright, but again I still wasn't using cones or floors. I did some box fights with my mates to chill out a bit. And this was my rage quit game for the day. I'd already knocked his teammate and I just couldn't get myself to do what I was trying to do. I knew what I needed to do in my head, but my hands were just not cooperating. And then I started jumping again, which is part of what got me killed, and it was just too much. I closed the game for the day. New day. Today I changed my jump off of shift and put it back on spacebar, found a way to make it work, and my mental health thanked me for it. This was my first fight of the day. Still pretty messy trying to learn this new jump. I still wasn't building very well either, and I definitely wasn't thinking quick enough. I didn't even react to that. I still wasn't feeling quite confident enough to try and take the wall and edit, so it was a bit of a mess again. I was feeling a little bit more confident enough to actually try and get into fights by myself. I still wasn't playing great, but I definitely felt like I'd been making an improvement today. I didn't actually know there was someone under here, so that kind of took me by surprise. Day 7. 1 week on the joystick, and I noticed a massive difference in creative. These clips compared to the ones from earlier in the week, well, I'll let them speak for themselves. I didn't play for too long today. I just practiced a little bit in creative for a while. I actually did my first triple edits today, and I've never done them before, so this was really cool. I had a few games, but they didn't go so great, so I just hopped off. And that was the first week of my joystick progression. I'm excited to see what will change in the next 2 weeks and how much I'll improve on. I think this week I definitely became comfortable with my gun binds. My wall and my stairs, pretty comfortable. My floor and my roof, not so much, and my jump obviously is probably going to be the biggest hurdle for me, I think, so we'll see how that goes in a few weeks.